Yo, this shit OP.
I call it one here Black Excellent because I'm black and I'm excellent. Black excellence. Black excellence. We gotta stick together, man. That's what we gotta do. Hey. Black excellence, I'm stressing it. My testimony confessing it. Middle finger to the law and every flag that's Confederate. From the bottom we came, but we still rolling like some tires. Trying to get a grip on life, gotta hold it like some pliers. In order to judge the man, you must know his heart. In order to find the light, you must know it's dark. God, I speak from within, but they ain't feeling me. Protect me from my friends, cause my friends are my enemies. Black excellence, young scholar, specialist. Big stepper like an elephant. Everybody closet got skeletons. I done read David, and I done read Moses. When I die, on my casket, put red roses. Woo, for us, by us, FUBU. But you knew, they say I'm gone crazy. Psycho.
Told y'all before, I'm all in my bag. I'm not trying to brag, I'm just trying to help add a whole lot of souls into the fold, into the sky crack. I'm not holding back, so it's woe to my foes. I got smoke for my eyes, bringing hope to my folk. Yeah, we cannot be stopped. Even if the crow cocks, if the cock crows. I'm on the straight and narrow, dodging potholes. The haters gon' plot, but the most I expose. So the beef that they cooking in me is pot roast. They better be glad I'm a vegan, or else I might eat them and I ain't leaving nothing but bones, you see. The most high is so gracious, he'll never forsake us or leave us alone, you see. So I give him my loyalty, because he made me royalty. All I need is the soul to seed. Another man water, the most I gon' grow the tree. And if he had to increase, then you know it's good fruit for your soul to eat. No need to be greedy, believe me, it's more than enough for us all to eat. You think my metaphors is deep, I'm still at the shore, I got more to see. Now that boy is legendary, I just write what he say like a secretary. I'ma give him the praise till the day I'm buried. I'ma give him the praise cause it's necessary. We gon' serve the most high, we ain't never scared. Got our armor on and got our weapons ready. We gon' rise to our feet, we ain't sedentary. I should tie your defeat, it's set in stone like a cemetery. Legend.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom. Passover unleavened bread coming up this week. Anybody got family coming in town? Anybody got brews coming to visit? I know we got our college children coming in and hang out with us for the Shabbat. It's always a blessing. Hallelujah. All right. You know, I've been thinking about this calendar a lot recently because we still got a lot of brews that I talk to brothers and sisters that, you know, do the lunar calendar. And so that stuff always still comes up. If you guys remember, I did a presentation at the request of Goshen Group. Was that last year, Rick? Year before last? Yeah. And see, I don't want to give up too much information, but anyway, as I do, and as we all should do, we're all constantly reevaluating to make sure whether or not we got this thing as good as we can get it for where we are in our understanding. So I respect and I understand that. But I'm gonna give y'all a preview to some things that I'm thinking about, right? Like in the near future, I'm gonna do a video. I started to say a short video. I can't promise it's gonna be short, but just some questions, right? It's like if we're considering following a lunar calendar to find our months, first of the year, Shabbats, Sabbaths, whatever, these days, I have some questions, right? And so what I think I'm going to do is just do a presentation where I'm just giving some questions that I have about the lunar calendar. And these questions, I will be honest, I'll be as transparent as I can. These questions are in the vein of I don't see it, right? I don't see the lunar calendar. The moon and its phases has a place in timekeeping and in understanding the seasons. I think I see that, and I think I'm seeing that more and more. Um, but strict adherence to the moon, from what I'm researching, takes us off in a different direction. And so that's the questions I'm going to present, and I'm just present the questions. Everybody take the questions and do your own research, and if in answering those questions you see that the lunar calendar is what fits, maybe you see that's what fits. It's not what I see though. Just very honest. Um, in addition to that, I still have conversations with family that's not in the truth, quote unquote. Um, some still in Christianity, or some still what's the new thing now? People saying I'm spiritual. You know, I don't do religion. I'm spiritual. That's got a whole bunch of connotations in itself. But I need a glass for that, please. But so these questions are about like my family and friends who say we are no longer under the law, right? And there is something in the letters of Paul where he uses that term. He says that phrase. He says we're no longer under the law, but under grace. So that is in the book. My question is, what does that mean? Does that mean we no longer have to keep the law, or follow the law, or guard the law? I like how that's worded. And so I'm going to do another just questions video on that. And I got some addresses, book, chapter, and verse that I want to present. Only two of them are going to be Torah, right? Because most people who say things like that don't deal with Torah. They say that's the Old Testament. All of the rest of the things that I'm going to present are coming from the so-called New Testament. And so these are things that Paul himself said. These are things that Messiah himself said. Torah, baby. Or things that are in Revelations. And my question is simply, if you believe we don't have to follow the law anymore because Jesus died on the cross, and I'm saying that because that's what they say, how do you reconcile these writings? That's my question, right? So I'm not giving an answer. I'm simply posing questions, right? Yeah, so those are coming. And then the next one that I'm really looking at also is, I got a list of the Hasmonean dynasty, and this individual that we're looking in the history, I'm finding was referred to as the righteous teacher. And I think that's going to become the next installment of the priesthood. I know y'all was like, what about the priesthood series? He just forgot about that. I guess that was it. No, it's just that, again, as I say, I can't present something just for the sake of saying, here, take this. If I'm going to present it, I have to present what I believe y'all is giving me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just going to share something just for the sake of adding content. Like, we got other channels to do that on, to just do entertainment and stuff like that. I don't want to do that here. So that being said, Shabbat Shalom to all the people who have entered the room. I'm running my mouth to give everybody a chance to join us. I see Akoti, Gabor, Adi, and Fam. Akoti Rib Kaya, who's taking a break from being in front of the camera today. Shabaya, Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Angelique, Akoti Kimmy, Akoti Ashanti, Akoti Sylvia, Shamaya, Akoti, I believe. And everybody else who's entering that I can't see in the chat. Shabbat Shalom. We have one of my offspring gonna help us with our reading again today. So I want everybody to welcome young Melak, Dawid. Welcome, 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 my brother. Let's do a quick mic check, family. If y'all can hear me, can I get a 7? Hey, Ima, shalom, hallelujah. Blessing, blessings. All right, good deal. Melak, can you give us a quick mic check? Make sure you can be heard, all right?
Shalom, mic check 1 2.
Hallelujah. I think that's a good mic check. All right, hallelujah. So again, we got Passover coming up, unleavened bread coming up. The Kwan, Shabbat Shalom, Aki. Welcome, welcome. And then we got this event that everybody's been talking about, which is this total lunar eclipse, right? Y'all do any Google research on that since the last time we talked? Can I get a 7 if anybody has looked into that anymore? We look like twins. If he had a little bit more facial hair, a few of these grades, a couple of these wrinkles. That's gonna be interesting. So I'm curious what that's gonna be like when that happens as well. How's everything going for you, man, over in College Town, USA?
Pretty smooth. We just finished midterms, so kind of taking the edge off. I don't have to drink black coffee no more.
You don't like black coffee?
I mean, I do. It helps me out. And during midterm time, I stay up. I'm cramming black coffee early in the mornings, late at night.
Yeah, hallelujah. Hey, that black coffee is my go-to. I'm trying to get out of the black coffee, and I've been looking at this mud water as an alternative. And your mom got us some. What is that called again? Mine. It's the limitless pill, is what it. No, not seriously, but it is a mushroom extract derivative. Same thing that they use for the mud coffee. It's supposed to help you if you are trying to do away with coffee, but you still want something that's a morning drink or anytime drink to kind of wake your brain up and boost your cognitive activity and all that, give you energy. Yeah. So I've been trying that this past week with Mom, and I think we like that. So I think I want to try the actual powder too. You spoon into your water and try that out. Because coffee is a drug. I mean, people may not want to admit it, but just like some other drugs, it's okay in moderation. And I'm not talking about hard drugs. I'm talking about like things that aspirin and stuff like that. Sugar for some of y'all. It's okay in moderation, but anything you overdo is a problem.
Baby aspirin. Baby aspirin says don't give to children under 18. I mean, yeah.
Baby aspirin says don't give to children under 18. I've never paid that attention.
Yeah.
That's really. Do you know why?
Because it's not good for them.
Yeah. But you don't know what the effects that they're warning against are? I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into that. Wow. Dang. Something I was gonna say about Passover, but I forgot. Come back to me. I'll bring it up. All right. Well, look. I guess we're twinning on the camera. All right. Let's jump on into this ring. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Forgive us for not being with y'all last Shabbat, family. We were over the road, and see, we spent Friday. No, we left Thursday, didn't we? For our middle daughter to go do her college visit with Melak, where he's at. So we just did Shabbat at the hotel there and Zoomed with the children. That was nice. I'm excited, man. We are entering this phase. I'm just talking about me and Rib now. Because of the dosage. Kota Kimmy said she thinks it's called baby aspirin because of the dosage, not that it was for babies. Okay, educate us, sis. Appreciate that.
Gotcha.
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
OD, they baby. But yeah, we are entering this new phase in our adulting, me and Red, where we got our oldest that just bought her first car with her own situation, without us for the most part. Uh, Done with her school and entering her next phase of life. And Menelik and Naya got their car situation situated about halfway through college. Ain't been arrested or fall into any. No, here's where I'm going with that. You haven't fallen to statistics yet. When I was growing up, that was the big thing. My parents like, don't become a statistic. Like, and now my children know what I mean when I say that. Doing the things that are expected of you for the most part. I can't say I have bad children. You know what I'm saying? I can say my children sometimes disappoint me, but which of us wouldn't disappoint our parents at that age? And you live and you learn. My youngest one, our middle child, did her SATs, accepted to school, passed her scholarship. Go ahead. All right. Yeah. Tuition reimbursement on track. Passed her driving test. Doing big things. I'm about to cry on the mic. No, but I'm proud of y'all. I love what y'all doing, and I love that y'all are setting a example for the ones that's coming behind y'all. Me, that's a big issue for me. Is what example are you setting for the ones that are coming behind you? The same way me and mommy are trying to set an example in our walks as everybody here in this chat room. We are all trying to set examples for those who are watching us. If we're saying we believe A, B, C, and we are living our lives according to what we believe, are we actually doing things that are exemplary of what we say we believe? And I'm asking the same thing of my older children. Are you exemplifying what you say you believe for those who are behind you to look at and say, okay, I see a pattern of how to do this right. And I also see a pattern of when they missed a step, how it didn't go well for them. And now I can choose to either take that same misstep, or I could choose not to take the same mistakes or make the same mistakes they made. And to me, what Trump said, I like winners. So I'm gonna try to pattern my steps after somebody who don't fall into the traps of the adversary.
Right.
You know?
Excuse me.
Uh-oh.
Nah.
Yeah, Coach said, I remember like yesterday, she was trying to drive everybody's car and boots to the bathroom. Now look at her. Kane, sis, they grow up so fast.
My she exposed Indigo.
Yeah. Kane. And she's still like that, sis. She's still like that. Can I drive? Okay. Almost legally, that's right. All right, let me try to add my e-sword to the stage real quick, and then we can go ahead and get this rolling, man. Menelik used to do our editing for us back before he went to school. And then he said that made him hate editing. And then now, Yalai and Israel doing our editing for us. Everybody stepping up. Stepping up. Now they know and keeping one edit. I just won't let them yet. You know, you got to learn the programs and stuff first. Nari's helping with the chickens. Real got some more chickens, y'all.
That's what I'm
And
hearing.
then you can hear those in the background?
Yeah.
Wow. And then went yesterday and came in with some turkeys and hens.
I got turkeys.
And hens, brother. And hens.
I should put one of the turkeys in the camera so we can all see.
It's not gonna happen. Not today. That's a separate YouTube channel.
Gotcha.
All right, I'm still trying to share my screen. Give me 1 second. Melak?
I do.
That's
Definitely.
you.
Definitely. I had fun this morning. It's not working.
Coty say you look like you still trying to learn the law and what's legal and what ain't over there. About your eyes. Your eyes look a little low. And say, at least they white, huh?
Whoa.
No, he's showing that his eyes not bloodshot red. I think that's what you're doing. Is that what you're doing?
I'm showing that they're not low.
That they're not low. They look a little low. Look a little low.
They regular.
You okay with that? Maybe on the edit, we can get it on there. Okay. Okay. So we are picking up in 2 Kings chapter 4. I'm gonna let the guest start first. You ready, my brother?
I'm ready.
All right. Whenever you're ready. Go for it.
Y'all ready? All right.
Yes, sir.
Verse 1. And a certain woman of the wives of the son of the prophet cried out to Elisha, saying, You servant, my husband is dead, and you know that your servant feared Yahuah. And the leader has come to take my 2 sons to be his slaves. And Elisha said to her, What shall I do for you? Inform me what to do. Inform me what do you have in the house? And she said, Your female servant has none at all in the house except a pot of oil. And he said, Go, borrow vessels from everywhere, from all your neighbors, empty vessels. Do not get a few. And when you have come in, you shall shut the door behind you and your sons, then pour it into all those vessels and set aside the filled ones. So she went from him and shut the door behind her and her sons, who brought the vessels to her, and she poured it all out. And it came to be
I was seconding what you was reading.
Okay.
Read along with you.
Gotcha. And it came to be when the vessels were filled, that she said to her sons, Bring me another vessel. But he said to her, There is not another vessel, and the oil is ceased. So she went and informed the man Elisha, and he said, Go sell the oil and pay your debt, and your sons live on the rest.
So they're gonna take what they've collected, sell what they can, and then with the rest of the oil, they're gonna use it. Okay, right. Go ahead.
And it came to be on a day that Elisha went from Shunem, where there was a prominent woman, and she took hold of him to eat some food. And it came to be, as often as he passed by, that he turned in there to eat some food. So every time he went by, he stopped by to get some food.
She was feeding, okay.
Right. And she said to her husband, Look, I know this is a set apart man of Yahuah. Oh, hold on. My eastward crash.
Okay, that's all good. So while you pulling it back up, so this reminds me of when we read in the so-called New Testament where it says a workman is worth his food. She understood him to be a prophet, and so she was blessing him because that's what she said. She's like, no, I know this is a prophet. So when he come through, I'm gonna bless him, and I pray that Yahuah bless me.
Right.
Hallelujah for that.
So, verse 9. And she said to her husband, "Look, I know this is a set-apart man of Yahuwah who passes by us continually. Please, let us make a small upper room on the wall, and let us put a bed for him there, and a table, and a chair, and a lampstand. And it shall be, whenever he comes to us, let him turn in there."
We have a place to stay. Anytime come through.
Right. And it came to be on a day that he came there, and he turned into the upper room and lay down there. And he said to Gehazi, his servant, "Call this Shemonite woman." So he called her, and she stood before him. And he said to him, Please say to her, "Look, you have gone to all this trouble for us. What is there to be done for you? Should I speak on your behalf to the sovereign or the commander of the army?" And she answered, "I am dwelling among my own people." And he said, "What then is to be done for her?" And Gehazi answered, "Well, she has no son, and her husband is old." And he said, "Call her." So he called her, and she stood in the doorway. And he said, "About this appointed time next year, you shall embrace a son." And she said, No, my master, man of Yahuwah. Do not lie to your female servant." And the woman conceived and bore a son when the appointed time had come, of which Elisha had spoke to her. And the child grew, and it came to be on a day that he went out to his father of the reapers. And he said to his father, my head. And he said, "My servant, take him to his mother." So he took him and brought him to his mother, and he sat on her knee till noon and died. And she went up and laid him on the bed, and the man of Yahuwah shut the door on him and went out. And she called to her husband and said, "Please send me one of the young men and one of the donkeys, so that I hurry to the man of Yahuwah and return." And he said, "Why are you going to him today? It is neither the new moon nor the Sabbath." And she said, "It is well." And she saddled the donkey and said to her servant, "Drive and go, and do not slow down, except I speak to you." And she went and came to the man of Yahuwah on Mount Carmel. And it came to be, when the man of Yahuwah saw her at a distance, that he said to his servant Gehazi, "See the Shemonite woman. Please run now and meet her, and say to her, 'It is well with you.'" Is it well with you? Question. And it came to be, and is it well with your husband? And is it well with your child? And she answered, "It is well." And she came to the man of Yahuwah at the hill, and she took hold of him by the feet. But Gehazi came near to push her away. But the man of Yahuwah said, "Leave her alone, for her being is bitter in her, and Yahuwah has hidden it from me, and she has not revealed it to me." And she said, "Did I ask for a son, my master? Did I not say, 'Do not deceive me'?" And he said to Gehazi, "Gird up your loins, and take my staff in your hand, and go. And when you meet anyone, do not greet him. And when anyone greets you, do not answer him. And if you shall lay my staff on the face of the child." And the mother of the child said, "As Yahuwah lives, and as your being lives, I do not leave you." And he rose and followed her. And Gehazi went on ahead of them, and laid the staff on the face of the child. But there was no voice, and there was no hearing. So he went back to meet him, and reported to him, saying, "The child has not awakened." And Elisha came into the house, and saw the child was dead, laying on his bed. And he went up and shut the door behind the two of them, and prayed to Yahuwah. And he went up and laid on the child, and put his mouth on his mouth, and his eyes on his eyes, and his hand on his hand. And he stretched himself out on the child, and the flesh of the child became warm. And he returned and walked back and forth in the house, then went up and stretched himself out on the child
And the child sneezed.
7 times, and the child opened his eyes. And he called Gazi and said, "Come, call the Shazonite woman." So he called her, and she came into him, and she said, "Pick up your son." And he said, "Pick up your son." Then she went and fell at his feet and bowed herself to the ground and picked up her son and went out. I thought that said something else. That's why I stopped. I was like, hold on. He sneezed in his
But the interesting thing though is, this looks to me almost like a mirror of what we see Messiah doing in the place of the prophet, in the place of the high priest when Messiah comes on the scene. Whereas he is showing the power of Yahuah. Yahuah said something was going to be, and it came to be. And then in the midst of that child living, something happened that caused that child to die or to become severely ill to the point where the child looked like he was dead. One or the other. It says he was dead. And this prophet is then coming and showing. And as you're reading it, I'm thinking about like, what is the parallel here? Is this a parallel? And I'm just asking this out loud, honestly. Is this a parallel of, Yah calling his righteous nation into existence, and that righteous nation becoming ill and dying spiritually and being resurrected? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. To show his power. Okay. And this was a righteous prophet. Okay. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay. Verse 38. And Elisha returned to Gilgal, and a scarcity of food was in the land, and the sons of the prophets were sitting before him. And he said to his servant, "Put on the large pot and cook stew for the sons of the prophets." And one went out to the field and gathered plants, and found a wild vine, and gathered wild cucumbers from it, filled the skirt of his garment, and came and sliced them into the pot of stew, though they did not know what they were. They then served it to the men to eat. And it came to be, as they were eating the stew, that they cried out and said, "O man of Yahuah, there is death in the pot." And they were unable to eat it. And he said, "Bring some flour." And he put it into the pot and said, "Serve it to the people to eat." And there was no evil matter in the pot. Now
that proves unclean food right there.
Right.
There it is, right there.
Wait.
No.
It was unclean or it was poisonous?
I'm joking, brother. I'm joking.
How we got that?
Well, let's just be honest though. When they said it's death in this pot to someone who was a lawkeeper, right, you could make that assertion that something unclean they would consider death because it's breaking Torah. I'm not saying that's exactly what they were saying. It could have been poison, like you said. And so whatever he did, I always think when I read this, I always think about the set of teachings that Noah received, as Noah prayed that the Most High give him instructions and understanding of plants and healing herbs to use in the event that his offspring sinned, right? And so there is and there was a teaching even from the days of Noah of things like what this prophet just did in the event of someone being poisoned, that probably would have been passed down from Noah to Shem, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And that's what I think about when I read this. Is that what you think about too? Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Like, who was that? That the woman was plagued with demons. All of her husbands died, and then he had to make this recipe with the fish. Who was that?
In the Apocrypha, that was Tobit.
Yeah, Tobit.
That was Tobit. Yeah. He put he put this and that together, a little smoke from this, what do call it from that, and rubbed it on the eyes.
Fish. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, that story, Melak, that makes me think of that as well. Absolutely.
Okay, so in verse 42 says, "Now a man came from Baal Shalisha and brought the man of Yahuah bread from his first fruits, 20 loaves of barley bread, and newly ripened grain in his knapsack. And he said, 'Give it to the people to eat.' And his servant said, 'What? Do I set this before 100 men?' And he said, 'Give it to the people to eat. For thus says Yahuah, eat and have some left over.' And he set it before them, and they ate and had some left over according to the words of Yahuah."
You see what I'm saying about sometimes we reading stuff in Torah, and I'm like, this sounds a lot like what we read. Messiah did the same, very similar things. Can y'all hear it?
No, we can't hear it real good. It's muffled.
Okay.
All these things you can do and more, because Elisha really, he don't have no problem.
Right.
Performing
miracles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He don't have no problem.
So I'll repeat just in case y'all didn't hear what she said. She said, with Elisha, it seems like out of the other prophets that we read about up to this point, at least, it seemed like he really understood what was being said or what was being intended with, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you'll be able to move mountains, or these things and greater will thy do. That is very interesting, because a lot of people read that because it's written in the so-called New Testament, and they say at some later time. But we see evidence that the prophets were moving in the same way. Those who had the belief, that type of belief. Moses parting the Sea of Reed. Moses passing the Spirit on to Joshua in the Battle of Jericho. These prophets, Elijah with the prophets of Baal came. These prophets did mighty works in the name of the Father.
Right.
Came. Koti said another one with the feeding of the bread. Came 100%. Yep. And he said, and then have some left over. When he's like, really? Is this gonna be enough? He's like, yeah, you're gonna feed them and have some left.
Right.
Okay. All right. Chapter 5. And Naaman, commander of the army of the sovereign of Aram, was a great man in the eyes of his master and highly respected, because by him Yahuah had given deliverance to Aram. And he was a brave man, but leprous. Scriptural leprous. Melak, you remember what leprosy looks like scripturally?
Yes.
So white spots in the skin, as opposed to what they tell us in Hollywood, vitiligo, or what they show us in Hollywood in Israeli media is skin hanging off the flesh. But according to what we saw happen through the miracles that Moses was performing to topple Pharaoh, and what happened with Miriam came, the regular skin color turned white, and then when they were healed, it returned to its regular skin color.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't Hollywood show that? Well, because it would be hard to show somebody that's already pale, peachy, and envelope color, as the coach say. Skin palm color, yeah.
Yeah.
Skin turn that color, and then what would it return to? It wouldn't be a miracle. Yeah, it's kind of like the Hebrews who believe that Joseph was the physical father of Messiah. Well, what is the miraculous thing in him impregnating her? Where's the miracle? So she was a virgin and she was young? That was it? She was just young? There's no miracle there. How was this a sign? There was a whole bunch of young women getting pregnant. What made her different? Everyone would start off virgin. At some point. Okay. So yeah, that's this leprosy. Verse 2. And the Arameans, descendants of Aram, right, had gone out on raids and had brought back captive a young girl from the land of Israel. And she served the wife of Naaman. And she said to her mistress, if only my master were with the prophet who was in Shomeron, then he would recover him of his leprosy. And Naaman went in and reported to his master, saying, thus and thus spoke the girl who is from the land of Israel. And the sovereign of Aram said, go, enter, and let me send a letter to the sovereign of Israel. And he went and took with him 10 talents of silver and 6,000 pieces of gold and 10 changes of garments. So what's happening here is, as somebody who is of the nation of Israel, who understands the healing power of Yah through his prophets and is witnessing this Aramean dealing with this leprosy, and is like, I know somebody that can heal that, because the doctors of the world in that day was righteous Israelites, prophets of the Most High. She like, I know somebody who could take care of that. And he's like, okay, well, shoot, what's the doctor fee? Let me send some silver and some new clothes, and what do we need to do? Verse 6, and he brought the letter of the sovereign to Israel, which said, and now this letter comes to you. See, I have sent Naaman, my servant, to you, so that you shall recover him of his leprosy. Thanks for asking nicely. And it came to be, when the sovereign of Israel read the letter, that he tore his garments and said, am I Yahuah to kill and keep alive, that this man sends a man to me to recover him of his leprosy? Like, just because he gave me money, what does that mean? If it's not Yah's will. For consider now and see how he is seeking an occasion with me. And it came to be, when Elisha, the man of Yahuah, heard that the sovereign of Israel had torn his garments, that he sent to the sovereign, saying, why have you torn your garments? Please let him come to me, so that he knows that there is a prophet in Israel. So now, through these miracles, and this is how we see a pattern of Yah working, through the power of Yah and his set apart spirit working through the prophets, he shows the rest of the nations who he is. And so, like Red was suggesting, Elisha's like, it's not a big deal. Send him to me. We gonna show him who Yah is. So Naaman came with his horses and chariot, and he stood at the entrance of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent the messenger to him, saying, go, and you shall wash 7 times in the Yarden, that your flesh might be restored to you and be clean. But Naaman became wroth, angry, and went away and said, see, I said to myself, he will certainly come out to me and stand and call on the name of Yahuah, his God. I'm saying that because that's probably what he said. His power. And wave his hand over the place and recover the leprosy. I said he was going to use Yah. That's why I didn't want to come in the first place. He going to come talking that Yah stuff.
He wasn't gonna bring me no physical medication.
I said he was going to do something other than just give me something to pop in my mouth, something to swallow. He wanted the dope. Give me the dope. It's always about Yah with you people. We've heard people say that. You heard somebody say that, right? Everything about Yah with y'all. Verse 12. Are not okay. Shabbat shalom, Grady. Malik, Grady say she
Shabbat
made it.
shalom, Grady. I see you.
Apparently that's my literal grandmother. My earthly grandmother. Glad you made it. So we are in 2 Kings chapter 5, picking up in verse 12. Are not the Abana and the Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? So you want me to bathe in this little trickle of water you got here, and just because you saying you calling on Yah, that's supposed to heal me? Like, we got waters in Damascus. We got bigger and better things than what you got here in Israel. If I was going to bathe and be healed, I'd have bathed over there, where we got nicer bathing waters, nicer pools, nicer cement ponds, all that good stuff. Could I not wash in them and be clean? I'm at the end of verse 12. And he turned and went away in a rage. And his servants came near and spoke to him and said, my father, if the prophet has spoken to you a great matter, would you not have done it? How much more then when he says to you, wash and be clean? Then he went down and dipped 7 times in the Jordan, according to the word of the man of Yahuah. And his flesh was restored like the flesh of a little child. So it didn't just return to what it was before. He went over there and in his 50s, 60s, however old he was, and came back with baby skin.
Baby skin.
Like the baby's bottom. He's like, oh my goodness. You done Benjamin Button me. Is that the one? Or that's the reverse? Reverse Benjamin Button. His skin was like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. And he returned to the man of Yahuah, he and all his company, and came and stood before him and said, see now, I know that there is no power in all the earth except in Israel. He's saying, in other words, I know that the gods that I'm aware of, the gods that we worshiped over in Iran, where the Armenians were, and the gods that I've heard of them worshiping over there, they don't actually have power. The God of the earth that has power is in Israel. This is what he's saying. He's not even an Israelite. I apologize. Is that 14? 15. Yes, except in Israel. And now please take a gift from your servant. But he said, as Yahuwah lives, before whom I stand, I do not accept it. And he came, like Abraham, right? And he pressed on him to accept it, but he refused. And Naaman said, if not, please let your servant be given 2 mule loads of earth, for no longer is your servant going to make an ascending offering and slaughtering to other gods. Other mighty ones means other gods. But to Yahuwah, I'm adding alone. Yahuwah grant forgiveness to your servant in this matter. When my master goes into the house of Ramon to worship there, and he leans on my hand, and I bow down in the house of Ramon, when I bow down in the house of Ramon, Yahuwah, please grant forgiveness to your servant in this matter. And he said to him, go in peace. We say, now you're talking something I want to hear. And he went from him some distance, and Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of Yahuah, said, look, my master has spared Naaman this Aramean, while not receiving from his hands what he brought. But as Yahuwah lives, I shall run after him and take whatever from him. Goodness. He said, Elisha may not want it, but I'll take it. And Gehazi pursued Naaman and went, and when Naaman saw him running after him, he came down from the chariot to meet him and said, "Is there peace?" So now Elisha did like Abraham did. Abraham was blessed by several pharaohs, was blessed by Abimelech. And in each of these instances, when he was blessed, Abraham only took what was righteous and he didn't take any extra. When Abraham went and rescued Lot and he took his servants and went to battle against those kings, he said, listen, give my servants, farmers, their due, feed them and all of that. But I don't want the treasures because we're not going to let it be said that you made me great. Yah made me great. I don't want that to be said. So Elisha is operating with that same MO, right? So Elisha's like, I don't want it. But Elisha's servant, who coming up under Elisha, is like, I'll take it. So we're going to see how that's looked upon, like what he finna do. Naaman doesn't know that Elisha hasn't sent his servant. He's going to presume, I think, that Elisha sent him. The first thing he want to know is, everything okay? Like, you're not coming to kill me or nothing, right? That's why he's asking, is it peace? 22. And he said, yeah, it's peace. Peace, my master has sent me. Lie. Saying, look, even now, 2 young men of the sons of the prophets have come to me from the mountains of Ephraim. Please give them a talent of silver and 2 changes of garments. Here is a precept if y'all want to see whether or not we're supposed to be buying and selling the truth, or prophecy, or healing. Y'all see sometimes people saying, just send me some money and I'll explain this to you, or send your money in and you're going to get a healing, or you're going to get a blessing. Here's one of the precepts that you should be able to look at and say, this is not okay. That's not what Yah is doing, right? So he says, give us a little silver, a little gold. Some of them clothes you said you was handing out. Please give them a talent of silver. 2 changes of garments, especially, we like that linen. You got some linen over there? And Naaman said, please accept 2 talents. And he urged him and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags with 2 changes of garments, and handed them to 2 of his servants, and they bare them ahead of him. And when he came to the high place, he took them from their hand and stored them away in the house, and let the men go, and they went. And he went in and stood before his master, and Elisha said to him, where did you go, Gehazi? And he said, your servant did not go anywhere. What you mean? But when he said to him, did not my heart go with you when the man turned back from his chariot to meet you? Is it time to accept silver and to accept garments and olive trees and vineyards and sheep and cattle and male and female servants? Is that what we're doing now? So let the leprosy and your descendants forever. And he went out from him as leprous as what? Snow. River's saying, as we read that, consider in your minds now these people that you see who are born with that ailment where they lack pigmentation.
It's a famous line. Our whole platform is making that look beautiful and being beautiful in our own.
Right. And so as we read that, that's confirmation of what we saw in the book of Exodus, where leprosy is synonymous with lack of pigmentation. You might as well say white as snow. Substitute the word leprosy for leprous as snow. In biblical times, leprosy was synonymous with lack of pigmentation. Go ahead, brother. What you saying?
Was he got sent away white?
He got sent away white. Not just him, him and his descendants forever. Now, let me tell you what, because you said that he got sent away white. Let me tell you what leprosy don't do. And let me tell you what what is the word these days? No. When someone doesn't have melanin, albino. Let me tell you something that albinism or albinoism, however you say that correctly, doesn't do. It doesn't change the texture of your hair. So if you got 4C, am I saying that right? Well, I'm here with the hairologists here. If you got 4C hair, albinoism doesn't change the texture of your hair. Albinism doesn't change the shape of your nose. Albinoism doesn't change whether or not you have thick, full, negroid lips. So this is not saying they went away and was then and these people became Caucasian. That's not what this is saying. This is though saying that him and his descendants, and if we understand how it works when you're mixing and mingling with other people. Once you introduce genes, right, Melak? You the college student, Taylor, you finna be college student. Once you start mixing and intermingling genes, you can have this albino trait hit and miss different people within a bloodline lineage, right? And that's how genealogy works, according to what was my man? 95 Thesis. Martin Luther. Martin Luther. Yeah, that's what he did. He was a genealogist. He worked with plants to learn, chromosomes and all. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, in the comments. Coach T said, "Wow, the curse falls on him and his descendants to this day." Cain. That's why Yah says, "Repent for you and your ancestors and for your descendants." Cain. Absolutely, sis. 100% right. Okay. Chapter 6. Melak, we can split it if you like. 15, 16 or 17 verses.
Okay. All right. Y'all ready? Take that as a yes. Okay. Gotcha. Ready, sis, you ready. And the sons of the prophet said to Elisha, "See, the place where we dwell with you is too small for us. Please, let us go to the Yarden, and let every man take a log from there, and let us make there a place to dwell." And he answered, "Go." And the one said, "Please, undertake to go with your servant." And he answered, "I shall go." And he went with them, and they came to the Yarden, and they cut down trees. And it came to be, as one cut down a tree, that the iron axe head fell into the water. And he cried and said, "Oh, my master, for it was borrowed." And the man of Yahuah said, "Where did it fall?" And he showed him the place. And he cut off a stick and threw it in there, and it made the iron float. Uh-oh. Hold on, y'all.
That's right now. Melak, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, I switched internet access. So let's try it again. I apologize.
All right. Want me to pick up, or you want me to start over?
I think I heard you read verse 1. So maybe verse 2.
Okay. I'm starting over from verse 2, y'all. It says, "Please, let us go to the Yarden, and let every man take a log from there, and let us make there a place and dwell." And he answered, "Go." And the one said, "Please undertake and go with your servant." And he answered, "I shall go." And he went with them, and they came to the Yarden, and they cut down trees. And it came to be, as one cut down a tree, and the iron axe head fell into the water, and he cried out and said, "Oh, my master, for it was borrowed." And the man of Yahuah answered, "Where did it fall?" And he showed him the place, and he cut off a stick and threw it in there, and it made the iron float. And he said, "Pick it up." And he reached out his hand and took it. And the sovereign of Aram was fighting against Israel, and took counsel with his servants, saying, "My camp is in such and such a place." And the man of Yahuwah sent the sovereign of Israel, saying, Be on guard, and do not pass this place, for the Armenians are coming down there. Armenians. I'm sorry. And the sovereign of Israel sent to the place of which the man of Yahuwah had spoke to him, and warned him. So they went, so that he was on his guard there, not once and twice. And this greatly troubled his heart, and this greatly troubled the heart of the sovereign of Aram. And he called his servant and said to them, Declare to me, who of us, of the sovereign of Israel, who of us is for the sovereign of Israel? And one of his servants said, None, my master, O sovereign, for Elisha the prophet, who was in Israel, declares the sovereign of Israel, and the words that you speak in your bedroom. And he said, Go and see where he is, so that I send and get him. And it was reported to him, saying, See, he is in Dothan. And he sent horses and chariots and a great army there. And they came by night and surrounded the city. And the servant of the man of Israel rose early and went out and saw his army surrounded the city with horses and with chariots. And his servant said to him, O my master, what did we do? And he answered, Do not fear, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them. And Elisha prayed and said, Yahuwah, I pray, open his eyes and let him see. And Yahuwah opened the eyes for the young man. He looked and he saw the mountain covered with horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. You reading ahead? You still reading?
All around Elisha. Yeah. Was we losing signal again?
No. I thought you wanted to pick up at 18.
Okay. No, that's right. But I saw on my screen that the camera started spinning again also, so I thought I was losing signal.
Oh, I didn't see.
Okay. Torah, picking up at verse 18. And when they came down to him, Elisha prayed to Yahuwah and said, Strike this nation with blindness, I pray. And he struck them with blindness according to the word of Elisha. And Elisha said to them, This is not the way, nor is this the city. Follow me, and let me bring you to the man whom you seek. But he led them to Shomeron. And it came to be, when they had come to Shomeron, that Elisha said, Yahuwah, open the eyes of these men so that they see. And Yahuwah opened their eyes, and they looked and saw they were in the midst of Shomeron. And when the sovereign of Israel saw them, he said to Elisha, My father, should I strike? Should I strike? But he said, Do not strike. Do you strike those whom you have taken captive with your sword and your bow? Set food and water before them, and let them eat and drink and go to their master. And he made a great feast for them. And after they ate and drank, he let them go. And they went in to their master, and the bands of Aramean raiders came no more into the land of Israel. And after this, it came to be that Ben-Hadad, the sovereign of Aram, mustered all his army and went up and besieged Shomeron. This is interesting because the fact that Elisha healed his man Naaman, and Naaman understood the power of Yah, he said, I'm not praying to the God of the Arameans or the gods of the Arameans no more. Now the Armenian king decided he want to attack Israel. And if I'm reading this correctly, Elisha, once he leads him into Shomeron, and he's asking, sovereign Israel is asking, should we attack? And Elisha's like, no, you are in a superior position to them, spiritually, righteously. Do what somebody who was being gracious would do and watch them treat you as such. And that seems to be what they did. But Aram, the sovereign, seemed to be doing something different. Let's see. So 24. And after this, it came to be that Ben-Hadad, the sovereign of Aram, mustered all his army and went up to besiege Shomeron. And there was a great scarcity of food in Shomeron, and see, they besieged it until a donkey's head went at 80 pieces of silver and 1/4 of a cab of drove droppings. Wow. For 5 pieces of silver. I don't know what, dove droppings. I apologize. 1/4 of a cab of dove droppings. Was they using that to fertilize? Tell me they weren't eating it. If they was eating a donkey's head, they might have been eating dove droppings. These Shomeronites. Savages. Goodness. Okay, so dove droppings is going for 5 pieces of silver. And it came to be, as the sovereign of Israel was passing by on the wall, a woman cried out to him, saying, "Help my master, O sovereign." And he said, "If Yahuah does not help you, where do I find help for you? From the threshing floor or from the winepress?" And the sovereign said to her, "What is troubling you?" And she answered, "This woman said to me, 'Give your son and let us eat him today, and tomorrow we eat my son.'" So she said, so Shomeron, yeah, one day. You're gonna eat a whole son in one day instead of fasting, huh? So we're in a situation where Shomeron obviously was being so afflicted that they was eating donkey's heads and dove droppings, and when they was done with the donkey's head and dove droppings, and you can imagine whatever else they was eating, reminds me of the Nephilim and the flood situation. It's like, once we done eating all of that, what else you got? They started eating each other. So she was like, "Okay, I got a son, you got a son, but what we thinking, and we outnumber you, is how about you give us your son today, tomorrow we'll talk about eating my son." Or what?
I just
like, what other options you got? So she called her on the side and was like, "What'd you say?"
I refuse to believe it was like, tomorrow we'll talk about eating my son. Because anybody in their right mind would be like, what? No. You know what I'm saying? So she was probably like, we're going to eat your son today, and then tomorrow we're going to eat my son. Don't tell nobody. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be between us. We're just going this, that, and the third. You know, she had to make it real convincing. So she was like, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah.
You said she was down with it. Oh, okay.
I think she made it real convincing.
As your mother suggested, by the time they finished eating her son, they was going to be fat and full for the next few days and wasn't going to have to worry about it.
I think she came back around the next day, or, you know, whenever the next day was. It was like, all right, you know, we all hungry. Where your son at? She, what you talking about? Whose son?
She probably would have. But what she did was she decided to go to the king and seek a reprieve, seek somebody to intercede. She's like, "Look, they trying to eat my son." And the king was like, if y'all ain't helping you, what you expect me to do? But that's what he said. He said, if y'all not helping you, what you expect me to do?
He said, "What you?"
But I mean, since you're asking, what's the problem?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so verse 30. And it came to be when the sovereign heard the words of the woman that he tore his garment, because this was wicked, right? This is really wicked what they were doing. And as he passed by on the wall, the people looked and saw the sackcloth on his body underneath. And he said, "Yahuah, do so to me, and more also, if the head of Elisha, son of Shaphat, remains on him today." Oh my goodness. And Elisha was sitting in his house, and the elders were sitting with him. And the sovereign sent a man ahead of him, but the messenger came to him, and he said to the elders, "Do you see how this son of a murderer has sent someone to take away my head? Look, when the messenger comes, shut the door, and hold him fast at the door. Is not the sound of his master's feet behind him?" While he was still speaking with them, see then the messenger came down with him and said, "Look, this evil is from Yahuah. Why should I wait for Yahuah any longer?" So I guess we're gonna have a cliffhanger till next week, y'all. Because now I'm interested to see how this turns out. But it's a serious situation when you're talking about eating my children, man.
Right.
Shabbat Shalom, Facebook user. That's a serious situation. And evidently, the sovereign is like, this is Elisha's fault. This is Elisha's fault. And if I don't kill him, somebody better kill me. Because that's my mission right now. That's something else. That's something else. Again, it's like we reading about the kings of Israel, and before reading about the kings of Israel, we presumed that the kings of Israel was righteous. Not always. It was a few righteous ones sprinkled in here and there. Coach T. Kimmy said, "I'm with Melak. How you gonna sit her and have a conversation with me, or sit here and have a conversation with me about eating my son and possibly eating yours tomorrow?" Okay, sis. Let's see. Elisha brings her son back to life. Oh, sis, there you go. You're being a spoiler again, sis. You can't do that. Yeah. Oh, was that a delayed comment? Okay. Abba spoke of the children of Israel eating their own children because of famine. It's part of the curses, sis. You are 100% right. Part of the curse. It happened again. That's not the only time. It happened again. Okay. All right, family. Well, we're not going to keep y'all too long. We're going to enjoy the rest of our Shabbat. We were actually digging a little bit more here into, okay, here's a spoiler for y'all. Because I brought up the lunar questions I had about the lunar calendar, we were digging a little bit more into that because I believe I mentioned to you guys before in some of our videos that the moon, I do believe the moon plays a role, even though at the time that we were doing it, I was like, I don't fully understand what it is, just full transparency. The more years go by and the more we actually focus on it, I do think it's important to understand that, because how can we have a conversation with someone that wants to incorporate the precession of the moon, what it does, what it doesn't do, when it does, when it doesn't do, and have an honest conversation about what we think and what we don't think without actually researching it. We can't turn a blind eye to things that we don't understand. Like we ask that people don't do that with us when we talk about whether or not we're still supposed to keep the law, whether or not we not supposed to be eating certain things, whether or not we believe that the Messiah of the so-called New Testament is the Messiah, whether or not the New Testament so-called is still good. We ask that he will not tune us out just because it's not what they're used to, but hear the full of the matter, right? As it says in Proverbs. And so that means we have to do the same thing. And so this year, I'm making it a point, and I said I was going to do it last year, to actually try to see, according to what we see and according to what we understand, the priests, those who are in charge of the priestly courses, keeping up with the calendar, what they saw, because they put it in a chart so that we could see it, how what we observe mirrors or matches that, and what that means. What does that mean for us? What does that mean for our calendar? Does it mean that we need to switch to a lunar calendar? I don't think so, but those are the questions that we're asking. So we're going to dig some more into that. Koti says, Second Kings get real juicy. Okay, sis. Okay. Okay, family. Well, with that, I want to say thank you, Toda, for joining us for this live reading. Everybody say shalom to my grandmother. She was able to
Shalom,
make it in
Grace.
here for a live reading with us. She watches our stuff when we post it, usually on the replay. And she told us she was going to try to check out the live. She made it on in. Hallelujah. Love you, Grady. Love you all that tuned in to watch with us live. And y'all willing, we will see y'all next week. Oh, Occulti asked if we could do a Zoom on first day of unleavened bread. And if y'all want to do that, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Check in with everybody, see what y'all feasting off, unleavened bread. Okay. We will see y'all then. Until then,
So what day? So
that will be Wednesday. What time? Let's say 2. I like 2. Y'all good with that? Not too early. Now, I'm up at like 7, 8 in the morning. Y'all want to do something 8, 9 o'clock in the morning?
We're gonna open up the Zoom so we can look.
Yeah, we can open up the Zoom. We could, free discussion. You guys want to talk about what you're doing for unleavened bread, what you cooked for unleavened bread. If you guys want to go through some scriptures, we can do that as well. Absolutely. If you guys want to share something that's on your heart, testimonies and stuff like that, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. hmm I'll let you work out the details between you and the culties in the group chat. Family, love you all. Ahava. See you next Shabbat. Y'all willing.
Shalom,
Shalom.
shalom.
Shalom. Shalom. God bless. Melak, beautiful job, my brother. Thank you for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you for reading for us.
Shalom, shalom.
See you next time. All right.
See you later.
I say yes, I'm too blessed to be stressed. Nevertheless, I must confess. Yes, this is Project Wake Up Jacob. On the Sabbath we rest and reflect upon his goodness. Because we are guided by the Ruach Kodesh. Yes, whenever I get dressed, yes, I'm dripping Kodesh fresh. Yes, this style fit me down to a T. Because I'm a ruffian, discussing precepts from the holy manual of his constructions. And TZ's cover 4 corners of my garment. Greet me with shalom before you step into my carpet. Y'all is not the author of confusion. I beg your pardon, but Yahuwah Zabaoth can stop it before it's even thought about. Think of be stressed because I've been blessed by the best. I'm Kodesh fresh. I'm Kodesh fresh. I'm too blessed to be stressed because I've been blessed by the best. I'm Kodesh fresh. I say I'm Kodesh fresh.